Hi. It all started years ago with an Instagram DM, and this lady popped up and said, I want to be your friend. Let's have lunch. And accepting to have lunch with this amazing lady, the conversations we had sparked up an interest. And over the years, this friendship has blossomed. Nigeria amounts for over 150,000 births of sickle cell births annually, and this is alarming, making Nigeria to be one of the countries with the highest rate of sickle cell anemia. Now, it's about time for us to take a stand, take action, and curate conversations as to mitigating sickle cell anemia in our country today and the world at large. Firstly, I want to say Happy World Sickle Cell Day and welcome to Insight with Izik. My name is Izik Irikemu. Joining me today on the show is my very good friend. How would I even introduce her? I want to call her strong, beautiful, bold, audacious. In fact, a lady who has turned her pain into purpose. I won't say much, but she will do the talking. But now, ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the show today is none other the one and the only, the Sickle Motivator, Judith Ojonugwa-Matthew.
Hi, Isaac.
It's so good to have you on the show.
It's lovely meeting you again.
Hi. Where do we start these conversations from? Because I think this question has been long overdue.
It is
We have had this
actually.
conversation several times privately, but I think it's about time that the world gets to hear this right now, and
Yes.
whoever they're listening from, they get inspired.
Yes,
So, but
yes.
first, I would like us to start from your background.
Okay,
Let's have an insight into your background.
okay. My name is Judith Ojonugwa-Matthew.
Okay.
I'm 29 years old. I live in Nigeria. I live with sickle cell, and I was born into the family of Mr. Matthew Otene and Mrs. Regina Nkemjika. I was born in Birnin Kudu in Jigawa State. Yes.
Naji Hausa, Susie?
So say.
Okay.
No, or should I say Kadang Kadang?
Kadang kadang, oh, very small,
Yes.
that's fine.
So I don't reduce my steez.
Okay.
So I would say that living in Nigeria with sickle cell it's a lot. It's a whole lot because you've rightly said it. Nigeria happens to have annually 150,000 babies are born with sickle cell, and Nigeria records this number because I think how will I put it now? The ratio out of other countries with sickle cell, Nigeria beats it. For my own part, I've been able to create this awareness, providing inclusion for sickle cell warriors, and it has been a whole journey which I am very determined and with the resilience that I'm.
You're a very resilient person. You're a very resilient person. Very
Yes,
resilient person.
yes, yes.
But that first time that we actually met and we had that conversation at Amala Corner. Yeah.
You
yeah.
still remember.
I won't forget. I won't forget.
But that mala bang though. Oh my, let's try it
damn.
again.
We'll try it again.
please. Yes,
You know,
we have
so
to.
that particular day when we actually met and we had conversations, it sparked about interest in me because going back in time, I was remembering that I had classmates in class then that were falling sick. I was hearing the name sickle cell, but I did not really fathom what it was or what exactly they were going through until I met you and we had those deep conversations.
Yes.
And you spoke about your sister. And
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm going to poke you a bit, but I want you to talk about your sister because I know that your
Okay.
sister died from sickle cell.
Yes, she did.
Was your mom sickle cell too?
No. My mom was
Okay.
AS.
Your mom was AS.
Yes.
So now let's talk a bit about your sister and
Okay.
how your sister's death triggered you and how you now found out that you had sickle cell
Okay.
and how you almost had the failed accident on the
Yes,
highway.
yes.
Let's talk about that.
Okay. At 6 months, I was diagnosed of sickle cell. So I started having crisis from 6 months. So you can imagine a 6-month-old baby having sickle cell. Because of course, that time I wasn't talking. There was nothing. So
nothing. You
yes,
couldn't
I
express
couldn't. I
yourself.
couldn't even express myself fully. But then I started having crisis right from that tender age, and I also had a sister who also had sickle cell, and it was tough for her because my sister had a whole lot of complications from sickle cell. She had okay. We have different types of crisis,
Okay.
which I will just talk on two.
Okay.
One, we have vaso-occlusive crisis.
Okay.
This crisis has to do with the total, like, is a joint pain from your head to toe, is a vaso-occlusive crisis. And then we have splenic sequestration crisis. So it can be on your stomach. Yes, I've had that before, and my stomach was all bloated, painful, and stuff. So my sister had splenic sequestration and then vaso-occlusive, and it was real.
Altogether.
Yes, all together,
Damn.
and it was reoccurring all the time. And she also had an enlarged heart.
Oh my God.
Yes, so it was a whole lot of complication as at that time. So, and every week she would always be like, she was always in and out of the hospital every week. She was always on blood transfusions, she was on drip. So it was just a whole lot for one person. She was missing school, of course. And then when she passed, my parents made me understand that I was also having sickle
Seems to me
cell.
that she was
Yes,
How old were
and
you
so
then?
she died when I was 5 years old.
And you were
So
witnessing
from
the
five,
exact thing that she was
yes.
happening.
So she was 13. She was just a teenager when she passed. So I was 5 when she died, and then from 5 years old, of course, I've now I can express myself fully. If I
Yeah.
have my pain, my mom
Can
would
talk, you
always.
know exactly
At
what's
that
going on
period,
with
my
you.
dad was always on transfer. My dad wasn't around, so I didn't have this fatherly
Presence,
presence
family
around
presence
me. It was
around.
just my mom. My mom was literally everything. She was my best friend. Sometimes I would even have crisis and I won't tell her, but she would be
She
the
knew.
yes, because she gave
She
birth
could
to me, of
observe.
course,
Yes.
and then she could observe. She would be like, I should tell her everything and anything. So if you're watching this and you have a child who has sickle cell, make sure you're literally like their best friend, so they can tell you stuffs they are going through. Because while I didn't want to speak out because I was thinking I was bugging her,
Parents.
she made me understand that there's nothing I am going through that's a bug. I should let her know because she brought me into this world, so I should express myself. So I started expressing myself from 5 years. So whenever I have my crisis, my mom was always like checkmating me and all that. So I had at 7, there was a crisis that I had that I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe for several hours. I was rushed to the hospital, and then oxygen was placed on me when I was 7 years old. So I had a very bad crisis at that age. That for after the crisis, and then I started having like nose bleeding. Every time my nose would bleed, like it was reoccurring all through 7, 8, and 9 years old. And then I was bedwetting because this is like a one of the complications of having sickle cell. So I was bedwetting. I was having what's it called, the nose bleeding. It was just a whole lot.
It's a
So
whole lot.
living in Nigeria, you can tell that this, and for a girl child, because you're transitioning from that, you're trying to like mature.
Yes.
You would have all of those signs, puberty
Yes,
coming in.
coming in.
So it was just a lot. It was just a lot because all of those um, things brought crisis. Yes.
I'm just trying to put myself and just trying to live with the pictures you're describing because we didn't talk about this those times and I'm being
Isaac, I'm talking raw pain
I'm,
here.
being- I'm,
Right.
I know I know I can imagine I can't put myself in that situation but I'm just trying to paint the words and just try to believe what you're narrating and that must have been I don't even know the word to use to describe that because I remember back in primary school I used to have friends. I don't want to mention their names though, but I don't know. We've even lost contact. But I remember back then in primary school, I had some Fulani friends because I grew up in Kano in the north,
Okay.
and I heard them say, "Oh, they had sickle cell. They don't come to class. They're always falling sick." And now I am.
Now you can
Now I can
actually
feel,
have,
now
yes,
I can have
like a mental
I can have
picture
a
of what
mental
I'm talking
picture
about.
of
Yes.
what exactly they were going through and what they actually went through when you were young. Now, before we talk about acceptance and how you dealt with stigma in school, let's talk about your failed accident. What happened?
That year was a very crucial year of my life because that was the first time I would have like a near death experience. It's all started in 2018. I started having pains on my hip, I started to have squeaky sound on my hip. Like I could literally be walking and the whole, like everyone would be hearing the sound. Like it was that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know how a person will be walking
And you're
when it's
hearing
not
this
like the person is wearing
shoes,
heels, yeah, or
yes.
shoes, that you can hear the sound of the shoes. No, you would hear my bone squeaking. Like everyone can literally hear that. So that is called avascular necrosis.
Whoa.
Yes, also a
So
complication
for sickle
for
cell.
sickle cell. Yes, we have several type of complications, but I happen to have what we call AVN, which is avascular necrosis. So I was having I was hearing squeaky sounds from my hip. I was there's a time where, like, when I sleep to get up, I won't be able to get up. So throughout that day,
What's that called again? Paralysis, sleep paralysis.
something like that, like
Okay.
my leg would literally just
Be
go numb.
numb.
Yes, I would just sleep, and then to get up it's a problem, and then you cannot even walk for long, like a long
Long
distance.
distance.
Yes, you can't do that because you're having AVN. You can't bend. You can't bend when others are bending or
You can't
doing
even just,
or lift
yeah.
to lift up
So
something
something
from
from
the
the
ground. You
ground.
can't do that. So that's AVN. So you're confined to one spot. That's not a life that anyone
Nobody
would
wants
want
to
to
live.
live. Yes,
No.
and I'm talking raw pains. This is raw pain. You can't do anything by yourself. People need to like support you to go to the loo, to do things by, like, you can't do anything.
I don't want to even talk about the addiction that you must have had with painkillers.
That's another
that's a
thing,
conversation for
because
another
when
day.
it started I didn't know I had AVN. So I was, of course, on drugs, trying to, like, because I was just saying, okay, it's normal crisis, I will take my painkillers, I'll be okay. But then when the pain persisted, and I was in school that time, I was missing school, and it was almost the time I would graduate from school, like my final year, and then this thing happened. I had to even write to my school that I cannot take the exams, and then my school had to set my exam the previous year, and then I came back to school to finish up, and it was just a loss because having to write your exams all by yourself, you and your HOD off,
I can, I can
facing
imagine.
yourselves, nobody to tell you answers, nothing, like you're
So
all
you spy in
cracking.
class?
No, it's not like that now. Not like that. But at least you know the joy you get when you're writing
Writing
your
with your mates,
exams
you
with
know,
your
I feel like I
mates.
have a number one A, number
You
one B.
get
that kind of
just
thing.
like how far, tell me. But I didn't have all of those things, and it wasn't something that I enjoyed. But
Yeah.
then, because you now know this is what you have to, like, it don't happen, it don't happen. So just take it. So
How did the field accident actually occur along the
yes.
roadside?
Okay. That day, I was trying to. I think I was going to the market. I can't remember. And then it was okay. I took the first
That was
step.
Kogi State, right?
That was in Kogi State.
Lokoja
Lokoja.
Expressway.
Yes.
So for those of you that are not familiar, who have not traveled the Lokoja Expressway, I think your school is in Kogi State University.
Kogi State Polytechnic.
Kogi State Polytechnic. And
Yes.
it's actually along the road.
The
The
road.
Lokoja
Yes,
Abuja
yes.
Expressway.
And then my house wasn't even so far from the school, so I was staying like off campus.
Okay.
So yes.
So if you want to get to the other side of the road, that's a highway. That's a highway.
It's a very,
so
like,
it's always very busy. You have to look left, right. In fact, you go forget your steez. You go run. You go run across the road. You go
Yes.
agilely run because cars are on the move, trucks are on the move. You know, when we spoke about it, I tried to imagine it then, and I don't want to imagine it again. But what happened?
Okay, so on that fateful day, I was trying to cross the road, and then I took the first step, nothing. Of course, I didn't know
Anything was gonna happen.
anything was going to
Yes,
happen.
you're not
Yes.
ready for anything.
So, yes, I took the first step, took the second, I'm taking the third. My leg
Ellipsis.
seized, my leg went numb on
The spot.
the spot. Like, it was crazy. And then this is the truck coming towards me. I think the brake failed or something because the thing was just coming on high
So
speed.
Was it honking?
It wasn't honking. I guess the truck didn't even see me, or so, I don't know, because I was very small then. So, but then the third step, and then my legs going all numb, and I was just like, as
middle
if I
of
was
the
just
road.
transfixed to a spot. And people were like, cross now, cross now, cross now. And then I didn't know how to, like, shout that
I can't move.
I can't move. I can't move.
Jeez.
So it was just a lot for me because you need to think fast. A truck is coming. This is not a playtime. No be now. So what I did was I had to, like, I mustered all of the courage, the strength, everything. I bent down, like everything. This thing happened in
Split seconds,
like
yes.
split seconds. I just bent down, crawled, like I used the whole of my strength to bend, and then I crawled.
Holy
I didn't know how where that strength came from, but then I bent, I crawled out of the road. And then it was like, as I was still crossing, the truck just passed. So,
you could feel that something passed through.
like, I was like I saw death flash before my eyes. It was crazy. Like, this is you, oh, you for just die now. Like, with all of your kidneys, this is it. Like, so there and then I like, I had that what's it called now? Like, I was like, if I didn't even die from having a sickle cell pain, I think I'm not going to die again, because I just saw death flash before my eyes, and then this is me living. So after that day, and then in, let's say, in maybe 20-30 minutes, the legs got better, and then I stood up, and then I left. But after that day, I resolved that no, all of these things were happening. I haven't even gone to the hospital.
Oh my goodness.
So I didn't even know it was AVN. So
Wow.
I was just on my painkillers, on my injection, and that's it. So I didn't know it was AVN. And I think I wasted time, because when the thing started, I would have gone to the hospital. They would have properly managed it with something we call hip decompression.
Okay.
So they would have done all of that in the hospital, and that one would have assisted the hip. So I was delaying, and then it got to the last stage 4. And when AVN is on stage 4, the sure bet is for you to do a surgery, because if you don't, you can't walk for life.
Whoa.
Yes. So it was after all of those incidents, scenario, that I had to go to the hospital. And then when I even went to the hospital, I met the surgeon, because I finished from my hematologist, did everything. Then I went to see the surgeon. I did an X-ray, and then I brought it. Like, I showed him. He looked at me. He was like, who owns this X-ray? I said, it's for me. He said, are you sickle cell? I said, yes, I am. First of all, he said a doctor, he said one thing: you don't look it. Now, we find this word very derogatory. You don't tell a sickle cell person that they don't look like sickle cell, because why on earth would you say that to me? How do you want me to look like? We do not need to have a certain look. Sickle cell warriors can be chubby. Sickle cell warriors can be slim. Whatever their physical appearances are, just take them like that. They are humans. So do not say you don't look like, we don't like it. So he said that thing, and I got pissed, because you don't need to say I don't look like. But then,
am I supposed to look in a certain kind of way?
It's a certain kind of way. Why do you do that? Yes. So I had to let him know that yes, I'm sickle cell, and this is my X-ray. And then he looked at it properly, and then he said, you have AVN. I was like, sir, please, what is AVN? And then he said, avascular necrosis. AVN is the death of the bone tissue, that I'm even in stage 4. That why didn't I come all the while? Yes. And then I was like, I thought it's the normal crisis, that I could just use my painkillers and my injections to manage and handle. But he was like, no, that we need to act fast. So there and then I had to go back. I related it to my parents. I'm using the word parents because my mom died. Okay, I didn't mention that. My mom died when I was 10 years old. So my dad remarried. So I had like a stepmom. Yeah, so
and she accepted you wholeheartedly.
She did, actually.
Beautiful, amazing.
Yes, though she's late now. She died last year, July.
Oh my.
So next month will be 1 year of her posthumous. Yes, so God rest her soul. So she tried. She played a great role in even in my healing journey, my healing process, and my dad too was there. But I'm not from a wealthy home, so it was quite difficult for us to raise up the money I needed for my surgery.
How much was it then?
2 million.
2 million.
Yes, 1.5, 2 million.
That was like how many years ago?
5 years ago.
That's 5 years ago.
Yeah, so the 2 million of 5 years ago
should be
now, you
like
get
10, 15 million around to
you
to
get
do.
you get. So I now had to my friends. I didn't because I didn't know about setting up a crowd fund. I didn't know about that, and nobody knew I was sickle cell. I hid it from people. It was just my close knit like
Friends,
relatives,
they could
friends,
tell that
and
you
then
had.
my of course my family
Yeah.
that they knew I was sickle cell. Why? Because while growing up, I watched how my elder sister was stigmatized. She was constantly stigmatized, even from her peer group in school. Like when she misses school, coming back, they'll be like, "Siki, siki."
Yeah, I was going to ask that question, right? I was going to ask that question because I wanted to really know. So people, I think people are watching right now, and how are you able to cope with the stigma, the words, the name calling? How are you able to cope? Because I know even us that we are speaking right just some of us, we have even played very wrong roles because of ignorance, right?
True.
And I think we're going to address this as the show goes on for you to still talk to us and tell us what better ways to address, what better words can we use in speaking to persons living with sickle cell and all. But how are you able to cope? How actually come into acceptance then we talk
Okay.
about the surgery?
Okay, so just like I was saying, my sister was constantly stigmatized from her peer group in school. They were always calling her names that didn't really go well with me. So I saw all of those things, and I was like, this is not the life that I
That you want
want.
to.
Yes, I don't want people looking down on me. I don't want people calling me names. This is not a proper way to speak to me or anyone living with a chronic illness. So I determined, or I had that resolve that I wasn't going to let people know. But then this is me now. I need help since I need to go for my surgery.
Surgery.
So I need people's help. So people need to know that I have sickle cell. Even when I came out and to say it, people were like, "Are you serious? You, Judith, you don't look it." So they
This
were
thing,
like,
yeah.
"Yeah, that I don't look it because I'm always agile. I'm always doing
Smiling,
things. Yes, I'm
excited.
always happy. I'm always like anything that wants to happen. Like my friends are organizing something. I'm always like,
You're fully
let's do it. Yes, I'm
involved.
fully involved. Let's do it. So I'm always like active. So they couldn't tell that, oh, you have this disease, but then we need to like push it so I can go in for my surgery. And then the crowdfund started. My crowdfund didn't even last. It didn't last 2 weeks, and I got the money I needed. I got extra.
Whoa.
Yes, I got extra. That time, the our what's it called now? Not my governor, the deputy
Deputy
governor of
governor,
my state.
the former deputy governor. Or is this still in power
No,
now?
no, it's not in
Or former
power.
deputy governor then?
Yes, former deputy governor. Then he supported me, so I had like a lot of financial support from people, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, because I was trending then. Like I had people support, and I was like, wow. So people can actually like accept this thing. So I think it's about time that I need to like push it. That this is who I am, and after my surgery, I had that result because I was volunteering for some NGOs as at that time. So after my surgery and when I was fully rested, I was like, I think it's about time I started up my NGO,
Okay.
Judith Ojonugwa-Sickle Cell Foundation. And then in 2020, I had it registered, and by the grace of God, this year it's going to be 4 years.
Amazing. So
Yes.
it was the crowdfunding that pushed you into seeing that I think it's about time that I begin to solicit for other persons. So now
Yes.
let's talk about what you do at the foundation, because I know that you do funding, crowdfunding, you solicit for funding
For others
for
too.
other warriors
Yes, I
to
do.
have their own operations.
Yes.
I know of recent, may he so rest in perfect peace,
In the BC.
in the BC.
Yes.
I saw that on your
On
your
my
socials. I saw it
Instagram,
online. You
yes.
had even gone to his village. They had finished the surgery, right? What exactly happened to NWBC?
Ndubisi was I'm using the word was because he's
Yes,
passed
he's
now,
passed.
he's late. He was just a truckload of complications. Ndubisi had AVN. He needed to go for his AVN surgery. Ndubisi has ulcers on his leg. Ndubisi has osteomyelitis. Ndubisi had ankle sores. It was just a
Just a whole lot.
truckload. Yes, just for one person. And though the crowdfund that I had for him didn't like we didn't get like enough money for him
Enough
to
money.
do his surgery, but he was able to like get his routine medications. He was able to like every time like go for his wound dressing,
Room
like his
dress and be
leg.
properly taken care of.
Yes, his leg ulcer dressing, and he was, at least that time, he was very comfortable. He was eating properly, and at least I'm happy that I was able to like contribute for him. Although he's
Pass.
passed now. We lost him this year, March 19th to be precise, and I had to, aside NWBC, because I had to travel from Abuja here to Benin. He lives in Benin. I had to do that because this is what I want to do. This is who I am. Like trying to like see that other warriors like myself who are unable to, like who have like one form of like they can't do things by themselves, like
Okay.
they're incapacitated. I want to see that I help them in the best way that I can to soften their burden, because you can't do everything. Because I myself, I also need help, but
Yeah.
this is me still putting myself out to see that warriors get the much needed help that
Awesome.
they can.
So, but quick one now. How have we been able to address inclusion in Nigeria? Because I think that most of the times we see in cases whereby so many sickle cell patients are not fully adopted into workplaces. So how do we now tend to really mitigate this, and how do we tend to still advocate for more inclusion of people living with sickle cell in workplaces? Because we are normal human beings. They are talented. They got the resume. They got the stellar resume. So what's going on? What's happening?
To be honest, this is like a full conversation that we need to still have, because people do not know the extent at which they, like the extent at which, when you stigmatize a warrior, you don't know that you're doing a lot, because mentally they are not fine. Because I have been in that position before. I was laid off. That was 2 years ago. I was working, and then, because of course, whenever I'm having my crisis, I get to go to the hospital, or I am at home. So
Yeah.
I don't come to my workplace. And then this is not so like, how many employers can pay you when you don't get to come, you
Come
don't
to
get to
work.
show up, you don't come to work? So like, they just, they laid me off. And then, aside me, I've also had like stories from other sickle cell warriors too, who they say, oh, they can't get this job, they can't do this because they have sickle cell. And one of my friend, he wants to go for this, he loves military, he
Yeah.
wants to be a soldier. There was a time he told me that he wanted to process the form and all that. So when he did his test, submitted, attached, when they saw that he was sickle cell, they said no, he can't. Why? But this is his passion, this is what he wants to do. Yes, he has a chronic illness, but is that a yardstick to actually take him out of what he wants to do? Like, this is his passion. This is, do you know that he can even be as much, like, he can be very strong, he can do better than even an AS or an AA person. So this is, like I said, this is a conversation
Sean,
that I feel people,
we need to start getting on.
yes, like, do not stigmatize sickle cell warriors. They deserve,
Do not exclude them.
do
They
not
should be well
exclude
included.
them. So that's where my NGO comes to play. We try as much as we can all the time to organize awareness workshops so that sickle cell warriors get that inclusion.
Yeah.
Now, human being we be, now sickle
Human
cell we
beings,
get, we
right?
no key
We
person.
don't kill anybody.
Yes.
So, but now let's really talk about this now. Nigeria is ranked to be one of the highest countries with sickle cell anemia
Yes,
globally.
you're
Now we
correct.
have over 150,000 births annually, sickle cell births.
And you know
annually.
that percentage is even on the rise now. As at the
Whoa.
last time we tried to measure up the statistics, it was over 250,
Whoa.
over 250,000.
So now, what do we need to put in place to mitigate sickle cell anemia? Because it's genetics, it's genotype.
It
AAA.
is,
So
it
what
is.
do we need to do?
I think there should be like, should I say, a law? Because, okay, yes, every year sickle cell births 150,000, 250 thereabouts. Still on, intending couples who want to get married, they know that they have incompatible genotype. they still go ahead to get married.
That's selfish.
That's selfish.
Very selfish.
And they put like love first, forgetting that love is not enough. Knowing your genotype and knowing that you have incompatible genotype and you still forge ahead to get married, you're not just, it's not for you because you're married, but for your offsprings that are coming, you would have sickle cell children, and they get to take this burden, they get to take this pain just because of your agreement to still continue to forge ahead to get married, knowing that you have incompatible genotype. And then people would say, okay, science now, every year we see that science
is evolving.
Yes,
Technology
everything is
evolving,
technology
yes.
is evolving. We're in the digital age, 24th century and all that. So yes, you are correct. We have things that they can do. Okay, number one thing that people can do if they have like incompatible genotype, there's something we call PGT.
Okay.
It's called prenatal genetic testing,
Okay.
whereby when the woman, of course, the incompatible genotype woman
Okay.
is pregnant, I think 3 weeks to 5 weeks thereabout, she would go to the hospital and then the doctor checks the genotype of that
Child,
baby.
of
It's
the
not
baby.
of that
Of
baby,
the baby,
yes. Of the
Of the
fetus.
fetus.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yes.
science students.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fetus, biology.
Yes, fetus. And then they check it and then they find the child to be sickle cell, then they terminate, and that's like abortion.
Okay.
So how many, and this thing is
It's
expensive. It doesn't come
It
cheap.
doesn't come cheap.
So how many take-ins would you
Would you do?
do,
And you know,
and then
eliminate.
it's going to
It's
be
going-
AS that you're looking for, or AA. So
That's
so
a
this
lot.
is so it's a lot.
So it's
And
just
then
simply put, know your genotype.
know your genotype and avoid it. Incompatible genotype, no.
It's a no.
It's a no. And then there's another thing, adoption. We all know that adoption doesn't come cheap in Nigeria.
Oh, really?
It's a lot. It's money.
I've been thinking of
You have to pay
I've-
through your
I've been
nose
thinking
to
of
adopt a
adopting,
child. No, it's passing through the legal. It's
I
a
think
lot.
That's what I said. I was thinking about adoption. It's not so real. Oh. It's not so real. It's not so real.
You can't do it.
No, man. But if my father should hear me, he will explain. But yes.
So the adoption, the surrogacy, it's just a lot, Isaac. So you would say yes, science is evolving,
But it doesn't come cheap.
It doesn't come cheap.
So for those of
actually.
you that are not
So
so,
the
so
cheapest,
buoyant,
the cheapest form is you knowing your genotype and saying that okay, you can't push through because your genotype is incompatible. So there's no point. Because in my own case, my mom was AS and my dad is AS, and they came together in love, so to say, then, and they still forged ahead. And here I am, and then my sister that is past that I lost. So her story is off, like it's so it's a lot actually.
I don't, today's a very, very special day. June 19th is the World Sickle Cell Day,
Yes.
and I know how busy you are and how busy your organization will be
But
working.
it's you. I
so
have to come for this
thank
podcast.
you so much.
You're welcome.
And how busy your organization will be working so hard. But what are the projects that are on the pipeline that we're looking for to spreading and creating conversations and taking actions to mitigating sickle cell?
Okay, first off, I would say that we're trying to put out a conference for next year.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Yay.
So this conference is going to like touchlight more on sickle cell inclusion, trying to like because the awareness shouldn't stop. Like I feel that sickle cell should be everybody's business. All hands need to be on deck
Yes.
for this. So the conference will just I don't know, like the conference, I think it's about time that we had
Have a
this
sickle cell
conference. Yes. So this is it. And this is going to be like the first for
That's
us.
true. The
Yes,
first. That's
in
beautiful.
Abuja, and it's going to be, you should come.
Definitely. I'm going to be on the planning committee.
Yes.
Definitely. I'm going to be here. But, quickly,
Yes.
right, before we call this a wrap now, when you were narrating your story, you made mention of the doctor that spoke to you wrongly. And I
Yes.
believe that there are several medical practitioners that still, that's still falling short.
Yes.
So what do we need to do or correct in the medical system to put this right? And how do we as individuals now use the right communications when addressing people with sickle cell?
Okay. from the doctor's perspective, I would say that because he had seen many sickle cell warriors, so he was, to him now, because he would claim that him saying I don't look like a sickle cell warrior is because he has seen several sickle cell warriors,
yes.
of course, coming to the hospital to say they're having a crisis and whatnot. So he has seen that their physical looks are like having a protruded tummy, thin limbs and arms, big head, and all that stuff. But I wasn't having those features. But forgetting that you 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 can be like, you don't need to have those features for you to for them to now say, oh,
See,
you don't look like a sickle cell. No,
person.
you can be healthy, like chubby, slim, and still be a
All
sickle
curvy
cell
and so
warrior.
fine and
Yes,
still
and
be
so
sickle cell
fine, and
warrior.
still be a sickle cell warrior. So we shouldn't like be
Stereotype and
stereotyped to a
put people in a
certain look.
box.
Yes, putting us in a box. No, it shouldn't be like that. So I would say he was not, I won't say he's right, but then I would say that, okay, I'm just giving him an excuse, like
Okay.
benefit of that. I think that was why he termed me like that. But then for other people who say those things or use those words for sickle cell warriors, I would say that I would love to correct that notion that
Okay.
it shouldn't be like that. Be nice with your words. Be nice. Do not say, yes, I know we just got out of a crisis today and the next day we're having our crisis. I very well know that. I very well know that we cannot be active. Some of us cannot be active like
Yeah.
others, but cut us some slack. Yes, if we say we can, please, we can do it. But when we say we need to rest, we need to rest. Do not try to say
Just
you're
respect it.
lazy. Yes, you're lazy, or maybe when we have our crisis, you call us attention seekers. No, we do not like.
Words can be very,
Very, yeah,
very, very
and
strong.
words are powerful.
Very
You do
powerful.
not use them anyhow. So some people say we're lazy. Some people call us attention seekers. Some people call us weaklings. Some people call us time bomb waiting to explode, because I've had way worse. Some persons will say, when are you getting married? Don't you know that you will soon die?
Yeah,
You need
but
to,
in fact,
yes.
let's
Some
talk
of them will
about
be like,
let's talk about that statement before
when
we
are you
wrap up the
getting
show.
married? Because
Yes.
I'm 29. When I celebrated my birthday in March, I had someone come into my inbox and say,
You're
do you know
almost
what?
30.
You're almost 30. Do you know what? If you don't get married, it's like you soon die. You need to,
That's cool, but
like, using, so I had to respond to that person and then I blocked the person.
yeah.
You don't use, imagine if I haven't developed thick skin, you say that to me and then I commit suicide. A warrior is
yeah,
gone.
A warrior is gone.
So you do not say that. You do not call us waiting time
ticking time
bomb. Yeah, ticking time bomb waiting to explode. You do not use
don't use such
those
words.
words on us. You do not call us weak. You do not call us lazy. When it's time for me to get married, I will get
You
married.
get married. Who knows?
'Cause,
But even get married. Who knows? You know,
Because even you don't need to rush these things. Marriage is
Yeah.
not something you rush into. So I would love to take my time. I'm not rushing. I know I'm almost 30, but
they
who
rush, they
cares?
go. Where would they rush, they go?
Where are we
would they
rushing
they
to?
But quick one,
Yeah.
before we end this conversation. You know, you introduced me to, I think, Maricel in Sierra Leone. And Maricel just clocked 30, and that was so beautiful to witness.
Yes.
And you know, there's so much stereotype around sickle cell persons clocking 30. Is that really a thing, or
It's not really a thing per se. Anybody can be 30 actually. But then if you have a chronic illness like sickle cell and you're 30, come on. Because I know what I did for this my 29th birthday. And then just imagine it's next year and I'm 30. I will go all out. Because because it's not easy to live with sickle cell and taking life as if it's cheesecake. It's not easy. Every day of your life, you're not certain of how your day would span out, because today like this, we've not come to the end of today, right? I don't even know if I would have a crisis today.
Yeah.
Because it's not certain. You're just living your day as it comes. So if a day passes and you don't get to have your crisis, and I'm
You're
like,
like,
oh,
oh,
thank you,
wow.
Jesus. I
Yeah,
didn't have a crisis
the
today.
reason I'm asking is because some people say, some people say that, oh, most sickle cell persons cannot get to 30, or some will say that
Those,
once they exceed 30, it means that they cannot have any crisis anymore.
I would say that those are myths that needs to be debunked and
Okay.
addressed.
Okay.
Yes, sickle cell warriors do not have a
A
certain
timeline.
age or a timeline that
Yeah.
they would reach, and then you're off having sickle cell.
So
As a
cross.
matter of fact, I have someone here in Abuja. She's 52. She has 3 children, and
Awesome.
when you see her having a crisis, it is
Oh my.
like everybody is all shaky. And I'm 29, and when I have my crisis, so it doesn't. There's no age to these
There's no
things.
age to
It's
it.
just as you get older, your better experience, you know what works for you, you know
And
your
how to
triggers.
manage.
Because even something as, okay, I won't call it little, but I can tell you, Isaac, that even something as little as excitement can trigger our crisis.
Whoa.
So as a sickle cell warrior, you have to, like, you don't need to lose guard, because if you laugh too much, crisis. If you
Wow.
do this, crisis. If you,
Crisis.
yeah, so
So
you are
it is,
just checkmating
the
yourself
older you
all the
get, the
time.
better
Yes.
you get to know yourself and what works for you and what triggers you and how you
Exactly.
manage it. And oh,
Exactly.
beautiful.
And
Amazing.
then lastly, before I go, I would like to still touch on empathy. People need to have empathy, most especially those health
Practitioners.
professionals. Yes, practitioners, professionals, especially the nurses.
So we all need to have empathy.
We all need to have empathy, but the nurses, some of them, I think some of them are sent from the pit of hell. There was one time I was having a crisis. I went to the hospital. I met the nurse. I told her that, oh ma'am, I'm having a crisis, please. And then she was just like, okay, just sit down there. And then 2 hours passed. I think I shared that on Instagram, and everybody went all hey. And then 2 hours passed, and she didn't attend to me. Like, I was there in pain. I was groaning in pain. She didn't attend to me. Why? Just listen to her reason. When my doctor friend came in, her name is Dr. Kelechi Okoro. When she came in, she was like, why haven't they attended to you? And then I'm like, this is the nurse, please just ask her. And then she was like, why didn't you attend to her? She's in pain. The nurse was like, because she wasn't crying, that's why.
Damn.
Yes. So she
That's
wanted
cray-cray.
me to cry. She wanted me to roll.
To roll on the floor before you attend
Before,
to me?
yes, before she would administer my medications to me. And it's not supposed to be like that.
wow.
No warrior loves to be injected. As a matter of fact, I'm very scared of syringe needles. I'm very,
That
even
makes us two of us.
this time, I'm very
I'm
scared.
scared of syringe. I'm scared of
So
needles.
I will not, if I'm not having pain, I cannot come and say I'm having pain, because I'm even scared of this needle and this syringe that you're even bringing, because I know this is what will help me in my pain. So when a sickle cell warrior say they are in pain, trust me, they are in pain. You need to help them. Don't allow them to roll,
cry and
cry,
begin to-
wail
Yes.
before you help
Before
them.
you pay attention
So
to
if
them.
she had empathy, when I came in and I said, I'm having pain, ma, she would have acted fast.
Attended
Because
to you.
imagine that this is me sitting and then I just pass and
Pass
that's
out.
it. So she would say, oh, because I didn't cry, or I don't know what her flimsy
And
excuse would
yeah,
have been.
Very flimsy excuse.
But then,
anyways.
this is it. People need to learn to have empathy. Be nice with your words. Do not use some certain words to us, because words are powerful
Words are
as
powerful.
well. So,
Huh. People need to have empathy, be nice with your words. So before I'm going to let you go, I have a quick one for you. So yes, so all of you watching now, let's get to know Judith in 30 seconds.
okay.
Are you ready? Where's the timer?
I was born ready.
You're born ready. Beautiful. That's the timer. So let's go. Your favorite Nigerian meal?
Akpu and ekusi.
Wow, beautiful. Favorite continental dish?
Do I have
You have
no?
not traveled. You have not explored that one yet. favorite Nollywood movie of all time?
Karashika.
Karashika, Queen of Darkness. Karashika. Favorite Hollywood movie of all time?
Blade.
Blade.
Yes.
You like action movies?
Yes.
Okay, so who is someone you admire and why? Spill the tea. Who is someone you admire and why?
I actually admire the doctor I mentioned. Her name is Dr. Kelechi Okoro,
Why?
because I don't know, like, she's my mentor.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, favorite book?
All the men in Lagos are
Are
crazy.
crazy. Okay, I think I have read that. If you haven't read it, you should. Okay, so kiss, slap, and marry, and I'll mention kill, slap, and marry. You have Ayolola from the men's club. You have
I love
Timini Boston, and you have Neil Apofure. So who would you kill? Who would you slap, and who would you marry?
I'll actually kill you.
No. You have the options: Ayolola, Timini Boston, Neil Apofure. So who would you kill? Who would you slap, who
Okay,
would you
I
marry?
will kill Neil.
Okay.
I will marry Timini.
Okay.
And I will slap Ayola. Sorry.
Wow. Okay, so what is your favorite travel destination of all time?
Zanzibar.
Blast. Netflix or cinema?
Cinema, please.
What's one thing that you can't live without?
Water.
Water. Okay. Dogs or cats?
Cat.
What inspires you the most?
Myself.
Beautiful.
I'm my greatest inspiration.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
If I had one superpower, I would wish not to have sickle cell.
I know, right?
Yes.
Amazing. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you today on Inside with Isaac. And I tell you, it has been a very insightful, eye-opening, and very expository conversation with my very, very amazing friend, Judith. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Isaac.
Thank you so much. And we look forward to the Sickle Cell Conference. So if you want to partner with Judith for the Sickle Cell Conference, or also partner with the Trust Foundation as to regards what they're doing towards advocacy and sorting after and help the other sickle cell warriors, please, you can send out a DM on Instagram at Sickle Motivator. And before I go, do not forget, be nice with your words. We all need to have empathy. Until I come your way next time, my name is Isaac Erikemu, and I'll see you some other time. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.